Seventh chords can be thought of as a triad plus a seventh. Take a look at this C major scale. From this, a major seventh chord can be built by extracting the root, third, fifth, and seventh. Since the chord is based on a major scale, we call it a major 7. The three most commonly used seventh chords are the major 7, the dominant 7, and the minor 7. The one in the middle, the symbol 7 with no other distinction, implies what we call a dominant 7. In these three chords, the root and fifth will not move. So let's lock in C as the root and G as the fifth for all three of these chords. And now the only notes that will change are the third and the seventh. If the third and seventh are major, meaning they fit in the key signature of the bottom note, we call it a major 7. But if the third and seventh are both minor, we call them a minor 7th. If the third is major, but the seventh is minor, we'll call this chord a dominant 7th. Before we learn a couple of other seventh chords, let's try building these same three chords in another key. If we build them starting on D, we'll have to keep in mind the key signature of D. And since the key of D has an F sharp and a C sharp, so will the D major 7. In order to make these minor, we'll have to lower the third and the seventh by simply removing those two sharps. And in order to make a dominant 7th, we'll keep the third major, but we'll make the seventh minor. Let's add to these three types of seventh chords two diminished seventh chords. We've got half diminished and fully diminished seventh. The only difference between a minor 7 and the half diminished seventh is the lowered fifth. Now, to make this chord fully diminished, we'll also have to lower the seventh. Notice that only one note changes with each new chord. Let me show you. If we start with the major 7th, and then we lower the 7th by removing the sharp, we get dominant 7. Then if we lower the third, we get minor 7. And by lowering the 5th, we get half diminished 7. And by lowering the 7th, we get fully diminished. That's one way to find our half diminished and fully diminished seventh chords. Another way, and perhaps a quicker way, is by relating both of them to the major 7. From major 7, if we lower the third, fifth, and seventh, we make a half diminished 7th. And then to make this chord fully diminished, we just lower the 7th once again. I'd suggest practicing these chords in isolation. Within Music Theory Pro, just select a couple of seventh chords, and then gradually increase the possible chords until you can quickly identify any of them.